If these walls could talk, they might say, I need another door right here. So that's what we're gonna do today. All metal, no wood. It's 5:30 in the morning. We gotta get this thing done today. We're gonna cut a hole in the wall. So let's get to it. So the door is going to go somewhere in here. That'll give me access to my backyard. I live over there, and the wood shop is directly that way, and the fenced-in yard for the dogs is right there, so the dogs will be able to come in without having to go outside the fence. So door right here, even though there's one not too far away, is really going to help with that. Now, before we cut a hole in the wall, I'm gonna get some of the pieces ready for the frame. We need to frame this out. I'm gonna put 2 vertical pieces up here connecting to the concrete and the top frame. We can get those prepared. I got some 14 gauge galvanized channels to match the width of these here. This one over here is, not really very straight, so I did want to use that one. So I'll have 2 new verticals, and then we'll have a header. We'll cut this section out, and actually that will make the header. I'll use that up there, and I got some scrap 4x4 by 3/16 angle iron that will create the connections at all the corners, and you'll see here in just a minute. So we'll start by cutting up some of this 4x4. So I have 8 pieces of angle. I guess it's actually 1/4 inch, not 3/16, but 8 pieces, 6 inches long, 4x4. Gonna start with the 2 top pieces at the vertical connections, and those are going to be screw connections. So I'm going to put 4 holes here and 4 holes on this side for screws. So I've got 2 angles for screw connections at the top of the verticals. All the mid rails, they'll be weld on both sides, and 2 at the bottom. It'll be weld on one side, and on one side I'm going to put 2 1/2-inch holes for 3/8 wedge anchors into the concrete. So I got the 1/2-inch holes for the 3/8 wedge anchors in there. I staggered them. This side will be close to the edge of the concrete, so I tried to put that hole a little bit further to the inside just so the wedge anchor doesn't crack the concrete, and then put this hole as far away from this one as possible. Same reason. You can see why we made them 6 inches, so they can fit in between the flanges in these channels here. And gonna tack this on. It's a 1/4 inch past. That way one of these legs can fit over an angle that's on the ground that the sheet metal panels on the outside screw into. So that just gave me a little bit, so maybe we'll reduce some cutting that we'll have to do later. And if you're having a hard time visualizing it right yet, just in a little bit, just wait for a little bit in the video and you'll see what I'm talking about. The last little loose end before I cut a hole in the wall, the point of no return, I'll have to get it done today, get a door in there, is put this welder plug on this long cord, because got the plug in over here. The door's going to be way over there, so we're going to need an extension because we got some welding to do in place. And I found one of these this morning. I bought one earlier this week. I couldn't believe it. It was 16 bucks for a piece of plastic, but I'll be taking that back now. Got lucky, found one today. So I'll go ahead and put this one on off camera, and we'll get back over to the door. So I got the top of the hole marked. I think I'm just going to cut the top section here and across here. Then I'm going to go outside and cut the rest of the bottom. I won't need a ladder for that. And then I'll just have a couple little pieces I'll come back in here and finish cutting the red iron and pop that out. Now I'll need to cope these ends here so the flanges on the vertical channels can fit in there. I'll have to pull back the sheet metal here to be able to notch that out. Now I'm going to weld these center angles in right here, and then we can fit up the verticals. Just forgot. I need to cope the top of these too. Now let's go up top and we can put the angles in that we plan on screwing with some big teeth. And I'm going to screw it to the vertical first, then I can clamp it to the horizontal and move it around with my hammer, plumb it up. I still haven't attached the bottom yet to the concrete. I've just only tacked it with a weld to the angle on the bottom. So I still have some play at the bottom, but once I get this screwed up top, it's already connected at the center. We should be plumb both directions. I'll check the opening side. I already checked the opening size on the outside at the bottom and in the center, and it looks good. I'll check that on the inside at the bottom and then put the concrete anchors in. The bottom is gonna have to go to the outside. I might have to pull some of those tap cons out of the angle at the bottom, but that'll be fine. And check it left and right. Could go over a little bit. That's pretty good. We'll screw it there. I don't think the light is very good here, but I think I'm going to remove a couple of these tap cons at the bottom so I can move this out. The door has a flange on it that will sit right up against the channels, and so that's gonna, we want the channels to be square, obviously, or plumb, and because we're not going to shim it. So I'm going to pull those out, push it out, And that's good. I'm gonna put a mark on the ground. I'm gonna drill, put my foot there and drill for concrete anchors. You put the nut on these first before you hammer them into the concrete. That way you don't mess up the nut or the threads. And of course my ratchet wrench is broken, but that's fine. Now it's just a regular wrench. It's pretty damn close, really. I might see if I can get just a little bit out of it. I think I did. That's pretty damn close. And that's tight. Now I'll mark out for the bottom of the header at 80 3/4. I'm gonna see if that middle piece that I cut out before fits in there. Might have to grind a little bit off. Actually, a perfect fit. I'm gonna weld the angles on here first. Okay. Now we should be done with the welder, but now that I think about it, I might just go ahead and tack that door frame on. Actually, it's got some holes in there. I was thinking about riveting it so the rivets would be behind the J mold, but I might just put some weld tacks on there instead. Could be a lot quicker. Alright, so you can see the tacks that I made. They're flat enough where I can get that J molding in there still and screw that. That's a lot easier than doing the rivets. Alright, I just put the lock set on. It fits real well. We just got to trim it out now. We got J molding for the outside. They call it J molding because it looks like a J. I got 2 for the sides. It's ribbed sheet metal on the outside, so I did a narrow one for the sides, and then the top is a little bit bigger, wider, so that it can accommodate for the ribs. Now, I'm gonna cut it 37 1/4 plus add for the thickness of these 1 inch, so 39 1/4. And now, so the top is going to lap over the sides. I'm going to notch in the back and out 3/4, so that to create a tab that after I put it on there, I can bend that tab I'll put the side pieces on, I can bend that tab down so the water, in theory, goes down over the sides. All right, I'll just slip those in behind the sheet metal panels, and so it'll receive the sheet metal panels. I'll screw it through the door and the door flange on the door and through our frame that we put in earlier. I don't really want to use my camera outside right now, so I'm just gonna install those real quick with some rubber washer teaks, and then I will get a little video of it, what it looks like with my phone, and then we'll do the inside trim. That's what it looks like on the outside trim. See up there in the corner, I don't know if you can see that, but that's that piece lapped over the sides. You got a little lap over the top, and looks good from the outside. So now the trim on the inside, it has this little pocket, kind of cool, to where it'll receive a piece of sheet metal inside there, and then it'll come and lap over the side here. But I got a lot wider wall. They just sent these little pieces, but I got some galvanized ones over here that I'm gonna cut. So I want to cut the top first. First I'm gonna cut the top piece. The sides will lap over 45 degrees over the top. So I want to put the top in first. It's 36 inches inside the pocket. I wanted to add 2.5 times 2, 5, 36 plus 5, 41. Will be our total length. It needs to fit inside the frame, but go past the sides at the top, so we get a nice clean lap at the top. So we can go 37 inches. So 41 minus 37 is 4. So we need to cope out 2 inches on each side. Now here, I'm going to end up with a 45, but the top is going to lap underneath the sides. So in case, you know, you could 45 this and 45 the side, but if they're not perfect, you could get a gap there. So if you leave extra material on this one, right here, then if it's not quite 45 on the sides, it's still going to look like, it's still going to look good. And your view is to the upside, so that's why you want to lap the sides over the top. Something like that. This door was real expensive, actually. It was like $700. I got it a year ago. I got it local here in town, and that probably wasn't very smart. It was kind of expensive, but got it about a year ago. I've been meaning to do this for a long time, and either I plan way ahead or I'm quite the procrastinator. One of the two. All right. So perfect fit. We will cut the sides now. We get a measurement. $80 and $1/8. So these all need a left and a right. Turn these. I said 80 and 1/8. And then 45 up. Line up corner. Oh, let's hit them both. Line that up straight. There you have it, my friends. That's all there is to it. So, yep, there your corners come out. Barely any, slight little gap there. I can caulk that, but that's the inside. All trimmed out. We're good to go. Got the anchors down there. We welded this on in the center. Same thing with the middle. And our screw connections are up there. That's it.
For a video suggested just for you, click the thumbnail on the left. For the latest video, click the thumbnail on the right, and to visit the channel, click the icon in the center.